love that church bell gong.
Absolutely. It's like Quasimodo ringing a bell there.
Who's supposed to ring it in today? Is it you or me, Kurt?
Well, your
It's
name
you,
is
right?
beside the introduction.
Or do I ring you guys in?
Maybe Tony's. Well, you don't have the show notes.
Welcome to FFP Podcast, sponsored by Winter Sandals, Summer Sandals, Construction Sandals, any year-round sandal that Chris wears. We've got Chris and Kurt.
As long as they're Jesus sandals. Kurt doesn't wear Jesus sandals, though.
No, but
just me. He wears the flip-flops.
Flip-flops. You want a boat?
Chris, you know reading that before we went live, I first read it as unclothed monkeys. I was like, what the fuck am I going to be reading?
Geez.
You would.
I'm glad that it was unchained and not
Good thing that we're
unclothed.
clothed monkeys.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. As usual, First Focal Plane Podcast is brought to you by EM Precision Rifles in Leduc, Alberta. They have the tools, the knowledge, and the support you need to achieve your goals of precision rifle mastery. As skilled craftsmen and proven solution providers, EM guarantees equipment performance second to none. You know what I said, equipment performance. We can't guarantee the shooter performance. Consult with Shane for the build of your dreams and allow Steve to handcraft your next precision tool for an experience you will not forget. Find these gentlemen on Facebook, Instagram, and on their website at emprifles.ca. All right. Should we take this opportunity to tell the folks what we're doing tonight?
Yeah, let's do that. I'm sure that most of the people logged in right now know, but let's tell them anyway.
Yeah, what are we doing tonight, guys?
We're talking about a whole bunch of stuff. That's where you come in.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
Also, we will be drawing for that EMP rifle topped with an Apex scope tonight at the end of the show. So stick around for that, ladies and gentlemen.
Before we do the draw, I'll pull it out of its Pelican Coffin that it has been sleeping in since the Calgary gun show, and we'll show it off a little bit before we do the draw. Everybody can see who's watching us on video can see we've got the fourth camera up, and it is going to be looking over the locked case that has had that lock on it since the Calgary gun show where we sold the last of the tickets, and has not been unlocked.
Somebody tries to jump out of there.
Exactly. And hopefully I don't bump it because I put the key on top of the lid. You probably can't see it on the camera. And if I bump it, it might fall into the slot and then we're fucked.
You're gonna have to use
that's a transport approved lock, right? You can cut that
with
a
I don't have bolt cutters, but it would make the show very interesting. In fact, now that I think of it, I'm just going to move that key off of there. Just put that on the ground right there. So yeah, that's coming up at the end of the show. But before that, we've got Mr. Tony B. You know what I just forgot, Rooster? I was going to do the intro to the show completely differently. Remember what we were talking about?
No.
We were going to do coffee talk.
Oh.
We were coming before. I promise we'll introduce everybody to our esteemed guest. But
you want to go for a quaff?
Before we do,
we had
on our way back from Calgary last week, we were talking, and it must have been late at night. It was late at night that we were driving home, and we decided that we were just going to start doing all kinds of stupid accents, and we decided that this Friday's show, like what we're doing right now, was going to be coffee talk with Timothy, Spencer, and Anthony.
You come into my podcast on the day of a coffee talk.
See, good. He could do it. We should just do the rest of the show like that.
I don't know if I could keep that up the whole time, but
we could try. Anyway, we've got Tony. How do I pronounce your last name, Tony? Is it Beeler? Byler.
Yeah, before I, except or I before E, unless you're European.
Except after C?
Yeah, unless you're German or something.
Are you not German?
No, I am. That's why it's E before I.
I got you. Okay. So Tony is with Odell Engineering, and he does pretty much everything there. He's told us off air that there's not really any reason that any of the rest of the people at Odell Engineering even need to be there. That he just like it's one man operation.
Hey.
Is that a lie? Did I lie there?
Be a lie.
That might be a lie.
There are some other key individuals who are pretty fantastic at what they do.
Yeah, Phil's pretty important.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Ben seems like he's dead weight. I don't know.
I mean, within reason.
He's probably not listening tonight, so we can say whatever we want.
Sure. We totally could. Yeah. Nikki's a gem, though.
Yeah, Nikki's great. Yeah, Nikki can stick around. Anyway, so we're going to be talking to you about all things shotgun, Bergara, Canuck, all of the above. And why don't we? Oh, I guess before we do that, we have to shout out some of our sponsors, don't we, Spencer?
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. Yeah, just get that rolling.
Okay, so I guess that's my turn then. We should let people know that our show is brought to them by Bolt Action Coffee. For world-class specialty coffee from world-class Canadian Forces veterans, go to boltactioncoffee.com. Order up some coffee for any occasion, and while you're there, check out their great line of apparel, mugs, stickers, and patches. Help support a great veterans organization, as well as the show. At checkout, use code FIRSTFocalPlane, all one word, for 10% off your order. Doing so directly supports the show. Did you see how I had that inflection there?
Yeah, almost like a valley drop, not quite.
Yeah, for any occasion.
Almost like any occasion, except we can't own those. So I mean,
for any occasion.
Yeah. Now is that 2-lug or 3-lug Bolt Action Coffee?
4-lug, baby.
Oh, 4-lug. Oh,
50-degree throw.
Oh, damn.
That's a score of 86 or higher on the cupping score Bolt Action.
I still would like to know exactly how that works, but
we're
told that it is very high. And we know that the coffee tastes good, so it has to be a high score. Yeah.
Okay, we're also brought to you by Callsign 66. Are you just starting out in the precision shooting world? Do you want to refine the skills you already possess? Are you looking for guidance to take your job to the next level? Train with Callsign 66 for standard setting instruction and become part of the reason why Canadian precision riflemen are renowned worldwide for being some of the most proficient in their craft. Collaboration and contribution are vital to team success. Welcome to the Brotherhood. For upcoming training dates and to find out more about the Callsign 66 team, go to callsign66.ca.
I like James's comment here. Tell him Tony sent you.
Hey, Tony.
Whenever we do the Odell Engineering read, we say tell him Phil sent you, but
Tony.
Yeah, tell him Tony sent you. How's your mother?
Oh man, I don't know if I'm going to be able to.
Yeah, not Andy Samberg, not Adam Sandler.
Oh, was it? Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah. That was what was Mark Wahlberg talks to farm animals.
No, I was thinking something different. I was thinking Adam.
Oh,
Sandler.
You were thinking of the other one.
That one.
Yeah, we'll leave that one. Yeah, we'll just do the Andy Samberg one. That one's more safe for work.
That's right.
Hey, chicken, how you doing? So you're a chicken, huh? What's that like? Okay, well, say hi to your mother for me, okay? All right, never mind. Anybody who doesn't watch Saturday Night Live is changing the channel right now.
Oh, gosh.
So, hey, speaking of Odell Engineering, our show is brought to you by Odell Engineering. And they are the geniuses behind the Canuck line of firearms. Odell Engineering is your premium importer and distributor of some of Canada's top brands of firearms, including Bergara, Rock Island Armory, Mission First Tactical, Hyper Fire, and of course, the Made for Canada Canuck firearms. Find their products and a supporting dealer at www.odellengineeringltd.com, on Facebook at Odell Engineering Ltd, or walk into your local gun store and tell them Tony sent you.
You come into my gun store asking for a non-Canuck gun. What do you think you're doing?
I think we need to hire this guy. I have a business proposition for you. how do I put this? You've got to gain a little weight though to fit the whole persona.
I need like an M16A1 with an M203, right, with the big square handguard on the table.
Even you're right. There's that, but even a bat, like I need some collections done.
I need some collections done. Too late. He's the collector for Odell. Whenever a realtor or a realtor, Jesus, whenever a retail store doesn't pay their bill, they send Tony.
Hey, that's Tony, right. Tell him Tony's coming by.
Tony Two Toes. Because when I'm done with you, you're only gonna have 2 toes.
Turns out the real story is I was just born with only 2 toes.
This is the worst accent show we've ever done.
Oh gosh.
Hey Carly.
All right.
Carly says
hey Carly.
Well, just for Carly,
I have.
Sorry, go ahead. The designed in Canada, built in Japan Apex Optic is made with premium ED glass, resulting in the best optical system money can buy. The rival 4-32 competition rifle scope features super positive clicks, a 2-turn indicator, 0 stop, and one of the most thoroughly thought out reticles in the industry. When you buy Apex, precision comes standard. Find them at apexoptics.co.
I have to say, I got to meet Carly and Vanya at SHOT Show this year for the first time. And I'd vaguely heard the name Apex before, but they're still new, of course, so really didn't know much about them. 2 of the most excellent people I've met in the industry, especially being newer to it and so on, and what they're doing and working on. Amazing. I am exceedingly excited to see what they continue to come out with. Fantastic nice people. Awesome product. I'm very excited to continue to see the new, their first optic and whatever else they're working on. Very much looking forward to it.
They announced something at the Calgary Gun Show. I assume that we're allowed to talk about it.
I mean, if they publicly announced it.
Yeah, if we're not allowed to talk about it, Carly, you better type in the chat very quickly. I'll give you 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. They had a couple of prototypes and were doing a draw to give away a pair of range-finding binoculars.
Oh, sweet.
They're coming out with range-finding binoculars.
That is cool.
Mm-hmm. Is that range-finding binoculars?
Or sorry, they were coming out with binos. I'm sorry. They were coming out with binos. I'm on drugs. They were coming out with binos. I completely blew that.
The whole of the online Canadian gun forums are going nuts.
Everybody
I know.
Yeah. Binos
and everybody's ears shut off as soon as I said range-finding. Oh, the worst spokesperson.
Coming up on 12, 13 years. I look like I'm only that old, but I swear to God, I've been in the industry for that long.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive considering you turned 14 just 3 weeks ago.
Right? Yeah, I've been playing with guns since I was 2.
That's awesome.
No, I started working retail almost as soon as I got my gun license at 18. Did that for a bunch of years. That's how I got to know the guys that I'm with now at Odell. And so I've been into guns basically, before I could legally own them, having an interest and so on, like many of us do. But I've been in the industry for as long as I can physically be from having a license. Mm-hmm. So as soon as I got my license at 18, I've been working in the business almost consistently, a couple of years in between doing some other things, but more or less I've been into it ever since getting my license at 18. Like I said, did the retail thing for a bunch of years, got into the wholesale distribution. I've always been super technical. I love the product design, the engineering, the actual, physical manufacturing behind firearms, how they work and so on. So very, I should say very self-directed in my learning of firearms and a go-getter in that regard. And I think there's a lot of people out there in the Canadian industry who are like that. Although I will say I've set myself up to be very fortunate to learn from Phil and a bunch of other friends who have, they know more about small arms and, medium caliber firearms than most of us will ever know combined. But I've been very fortunate to learn from a handful of those really close friends as well. So Yeah, it's an industry and a hobby and a sport and business that I've been in for most of my career at this point, and I don't think I'll be out of it anytime soon.
Awesome.
Why would you go anywhere?
Yeah, exactly. Why would you?
It is a truly, like, from a business perspective, extremely fascinating. Of course, anyone who's into guns from a technical perspective, even more fascinating. There is so much out there.
What there, Chris?
Apparently, I have birds.
Oh, maybe.
I just got a whole bunch of notifications from our Facebook page for some reason. It's blowing up. I don't know why. Everyone's, do the draw.
Yeah, we don't want to hear your show. Just do the damn draw.
Tony, screw them. Tony,
yes.
Tell us what you do at Odell.
Oh, well, like you alluded to in a very, broad sense, a variety of things. If anyone now recognizes my face or knows my face, but knew my name before, if you've dealt with us for warranty or any technical questions or technical support, you've likely dealt with me. If you haven't dealt with me, but you had warranty work done, I probably did it. So, broadly speaking, I run the warranty program at Odell. So pretty much anything that's come in the past 3.5 to 4 years for work has probably been done by me, at least within, probably 80 to 95% of the work is done by me. Maybe I don't want to say that much because, hey, maybe I said something back that wasn't quite.
There's that one guy.
That one guy, right? But no, like I said, I run the warranty program. I do the vast majority of the gunsmithing, the repairs, all of that associated with the specific support of our products. Beyond,
are you like the Maytag repairman? So lonely because nobody ever comes to see him.
I like to think I have more personality than that, and so I'm not as lonely. Man.
So let's talk about Canuck because Canuck is
we can talk lots of others, so we'll go into what we should talk about.
Agreed. Canuck is such an interesting idea because I kind of think that Canuck is it exclusively or almost exclusively Turkish made shotguns?
It is our brand. So broadly speaking, yes.
I mean, in the lineup right now,
currently speaking, yes, absolutely. It is pretty much Turkish made firearms, not necessarily shotguns, but Turkish produced firearms. That's
and not an exclusive thing. It's just what the current. Oh, he's freezing on us. Tony, are you still with us there, buddy?
Can you still hear me?
There we go. Okay. So not an exclusive thing, but currently the lineup is a lot of Turkish shotguns.
Correct. Yep.
And what I find interesting about that is I pay attention to the interwebs, and it's Turkish firearms seem to be the Nickelback of the gun industry, in that everybody loves to bitch and complain about how they have to be crap. They must be terrible. But they're just like selling out on the shelves left, right, and center. And everybody and their uncle and their dog owns at least one Canuck shotgun now.
I hope they do.
That's a really interesting analogy.
It seems that way, though, doesn't it? I love it. I hate it. I love it. I hate it. It's such a great shotgun, but I know I'm supposed to hate it because it's Turkish.
In certain internet circles, you've basically summed it up. Yeah, it's interesting, and you kind of asked what my original or my background is in the industry. And when I was working retail, so I started doing gun retail in 2010, I want to say, which feels like a long time ago. It was, but feels like it's even longer. Turkish shotguns were somewhat available at the time, but they really didn't have a great name. And largely speaking, the only Turkish shotguns and in that time frame that were available were the much bigger names. Hatsan was probably the most commonly known name. And broadly speaking, they don't produce a bad gun. But really it was only Hatsan that was known. And I guess when you talk about any imported product, whether it's Turkey or any other country, there tends to be a certain level of assumption behind the quality of that product, and that can just be bias, can be whatever a person's perception is of that country and their manufacturing capabilities. I will say, like, Turkish manufacturers can produce some absolutely incredible quality, whether it's firearms or otherwise. Most people don't necessarily realize it, but Turkey is one of the largest producers of textiles in the world. And I'm talking textiles for massive high-end fashion brands and so on.
Yep.
Generally speaking, they have an extremely highly skilled labor force and extremely good manufacturing capabilities. Automotive manufacturers produce a ton of components in Turkey. So from a stereotypical perspective, people might think, oh, it's made in Turkey, it's not great. I wouldn't say that's true. Of course, anyone can get anything made anywhere and pay for the level of quality that they want. Certainly our products hit a certain price range, but they do that within reason, and there's always trade-offs. It doesn't matter what you're talking about, but especially in the world of manufacturing and especially in firearms, there are always
fast, cheap.
Exactly. And there's always trade-offs to those things.
Yeah.
So going back to my kind of retail comment, for quite a while, Turkish brands really didn't have the best name or reputation in Canada. And part of that could have been the quality of the product itself. Part of that could have been the distributor or distributors and the lack of support. And it doesn't matter whether you buy a gun made in the States, made in Europe. It doesn't matter if it's a $300 gun or a $3,000 or a $300,000 gun. If the distributor can't support the product and there's a problem, it sucks. It sucks for the consumer and it sucks for the brand as well. I mean, it sucks for the distributor, but the consumer and the brand are the ones that are hurt the most, because the consumer loses all faith in the brand name because they think it's garbage and it can't be repaired. The brand loses brand equity in the market because their reputation goes down. And then the distributor is caught between the two. And so I think Turkish firearms as a whole, to a degree, did or at a time had a bad name, or a name that they weren't as well accepted because of some of those aspects. And so if you can't support the brand in Canada, regardless of where it's from, it won't do well. And that's just the nature of this industry. And especially an industry where you can't re-export a product easily for warranty to go back to another country. That can kind of occur with the US, but if it's coming in from anywhere else, once it hits Canada, it's not going back.
I want to touch on that just for a second. We've got a bunch of questions that we're going to get to. We'll let everybody know that, like, we will get to your questions.
Yes, and I'm not ignoring you, but I'm also not trying to address them right away.
But I wanted to talk about that real quick, because you guys do some at least certain things. I remember we were talking to Phil, and he was talking about one of your guys' shotguns that you had just had the manufacturer send you guys a bunch of parts, and you were doing some of the work in-house within Odell. Are you doing that with a lot of things, or just certain models, certain lines, certain things?
Do you mean from a support perspective or like design perspective?
Like warranty perspective.
Every single product that we import, we warranty in-house.
Oh, really? Every single one?
Every single one. The only occasion that doesn't really apply, because we physically can't do it, is optics.
Okay.
But understandably, that's pretty much most distributors. That's a very specialized type of technical support.
Right. Yeah.
Anything gun-wise that we import, whether it's Bergara, Canuck, some of the other brands, whether they're accessories or products, all the warranty is in-house. Pardon me.
Well, so that's good to know.
If there's a problem, it is dealt with in-house. We do our best to keep parts on hand for pretty much everything that's current in our line and that we sell and distribute. In which case, if parts are on hand, we can support it fairly quickly.
Yeah.
Caveat being, hey, there's always issues with shipping, like Apex has seen, right? And
especially lately.
Yeah, and hey, if we're out of stock on parts, you can't help it, but we pretty much always try to keep an inventory of components to support everything we bring in. So that's probably one of the biggest differences or things that we do on a regular basis from a product support perspective is it's always dealt with in-house. We don't send a single item out of the shop to be worked on. We do it all.
That's got to be a pretty deep drawer to have all those parts on hand. You may not have 100%, but like even to have some of them.
It is an exceedingly deep drawer. Yes,
right.
There are, and you know what? Within
you guys have a pretty decent number of SKUs.
Oh yeah, yes, and there are. I mean, you start to get a really good understanding of which parts need, broadly speaking, which parts fail more than others, so to speak, and which parts you need on hand versus others, and so on. But yes, we have tons of parts, very deep drawers. Yeah,
good.
So we do our best to make sure that if there's an issue with any of our products, and especially on the Canuck side, that we can deal with it, ASAP.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Let's get into some questions here. Tony Castillo wants to know how your Palmerston match went. That seems like something that the whole rest of the world will be interested in hearing the answer to.
Yeah, Palmerston match was the Northern Rimfire series. That was, I think, the first match of this season.
Okay.
So I compete in the Rimfire PRS stuff.
Yep.
I'd like to get more into the Centerfire, but with the military bases being closed, lack of sizable land for Centerfire and so on.
Yeah.
Which is obviously why Rimfire is taking off.
Yeah.
Which works out with the Bergara side of things.
Are you shooting a B-14?
I am, yes. As a lefty, I'm shooting a righty. People always laugh when I'm almost faster than them. that doesn't guarantee accuracy though. But to answer Dan's question, the match was a ton of fun. I always just show up to have fun, to support the brand, to enjoy it, to just hang out with people. I love competing, but I'm not there to be number one all the time. If I have fun and I go out and enjoy it, that's what I'm there for. So it was a ton of fun. I had a blast. It's always a great group of people. If you're considering getting into any sort of PRS or precision type shooting, or if you're ready into centerfire precision shooting, whether that's a 223 or a 300 PRC or whatever the hell it is, get into 22 precision, because it is an unbelievably amount of fun. You learn to read wind ridiculously well shooting a 22 to 300 yards.
Yeah.
And everything you do with a 22 translates over to everything else.
Not true.
It was,
Jens will be proud of me.
Jens is pounding on his screen right now. That is not true.
Yeah, but we promise it's true. I can do a German accent, Italian and German.
Oh no. Well, Dan decided not to wait for us to even answer his first question before asking a second one.
Dan, you're quick off the hop.
He wants to know if the Canuck semis are inertia driven or gas driven. You guys have both, don't you?
I was going to say the answer is yes.
Yeah.
Depending on the model and the gun, we have inertia and gas operated. That's correct. Yeah. And pump. Yeah. Okay. When we were supposed to have you on last week, somebody asked a question preemptively in our Facebook page. And it was an interesting question because you guys used to have a 410 revolver shotgun.
Yes. Right.
Jeez.
What happened there? Is that a sore spot? Should we not be bringing that up?
What? It's a really interesting example of some of the things I've already alluded to.
Okay.
And people actually, whether it's Smith & Wesson, I don't know, Ruger, whoever else makes a revolver at this point in time, Alpha Project, I don't know. I'm just trying to think of some names.
Sorry, I'm laughing because Jens gave us an angry face on our Facebook stream. Sorry, carry on.
I'll provide some context from a different perspective and kind of bring it back to revolvers. Because anyone who's seen a side-by-side or an over-under shotgun thinks, oh, those are a really simple firearm. And from a mechanical perspective, they are simple relatively to, semi-autos, gas-driven, inertia-driven. They're simple in their mechanical concepts, but they're extremely hard to make well. And that's same with revolvers. And that's why you can, maybe less so now because PPC and certain pistol competition shooting with revolvers isn't as popular as it used to be. But guys used to buy Smiths and then they would dump $2,000 into getting it built into a competition gun.
Yeah.
And that's not to say a Smith is a bad gun. But like side-by-sides and over-unders and those types of guns, revolvers are very difficult to make really well and make them function really well. So you can make it look extremely pretty, but to make the internals function to the point that they work really, really well is not easy. Yeah. So yes, with those 410 revolvers, they suffered from some difficulties in the overall action type and the ability to make those actions function at a given price point, to be honest. They're very, very difficult firearms to produce at a price point that give the function that they should have.
They weren't cutting the mustard.
Basically. There's a ton of regulating points, which is a term in British gun making, whereby all those little points and surfaces affect the function of the next action or aspect within the cycle of operations.
Timing and all that, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And timing is affected by the pawl that engages the cams on the cylinder. Those cams on the cylinder have to be ground to the correct angle. If the pawl wears or is off, right? You're talking about so many minute details within that type of action that they're not easy to produce. They're easy to produce in certain ways. They're not easy to produce in a really well done way. Yeah.
Okay, well that's fair. I'm sorry I brought it up.
That's okay.
Interesting concept.
It's actually a very interesting learning opportunity for consumers and so on, because they're awesome. They're a great concept, and people, generally speaking, love the idea of it, but they're very hard to make really well.
I want one that'll do 410 and 4570.
You must have microphones in our shop because we've talked about the same. That would be awesome.
Right?
That would be super cool. Or like 45 long Colt 410. That would be incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah. You heard it here first. Next year, coming up.
That's right.
Please, nobody ever take what I say seriously.
Send me a ton
Especially
of money.
when I'm speaking for other people or other companies.
Someone send me a ton of money in an R&D budget and we'll make it happen.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
There was a guy from Regina, Saskatchewan, just won the $70 million jackpot last week.
Yeah.
So maybe we should try and get in touch with that guy. Maybe he's a gun lover. Maybe he's a revolver lover.
Tell him we have an opportunity in 410 revolvers.
Have we got an opportunity for him? That's right. All right, go ahead, Rooster.
All right. Todd's going to put you on the spot here.
Todd.
He says we sell Bergeras and Canucks at Extreme Range Outfitters in Saskatoon. Can you give a quick selling hook for each of them?
That's a lot.
That's a lot, Todd. Come on.
They have quite a few SKUs at XRO.
We do. So you know what?
Maybe let's just pick 3. Why don't we just pick I think what I've seen there recently, I think I saw an OD green operator.
Ooh. Yeah.
I think I saw
a tan operator and a black operator.
Yeah, exactly. I definitely saw an FD12 there.
Oh, all right.
And let's go with one of the pumps, not the regulator defender, the other one with the pistol grip that comes on, the commander.
Yes. So
let's go with those 3.
I'm going to answer initially with a non-answer, and that's, what are you doing with the gun? And I mean that seriously though, because it is entirely possible that those 3 guns or anything we sell is not well suited to what you want to do. That being said, value from across the board for Canucks, value and support, right? The vast majority of people looking to just buy a 12 gauge or 20 gauge shotgun, whether it's pump, semi, hunting, tactical, any of our guns or the vast majority of our shotguns will cover the large majority of what people are looking to do with that gun, whether it's hunting, target shooting, screwing around, shooting cans, and the support side. I will say that I think across Canada, our support side is second to none, probably the best. And they generally work, and they work within the intended usage. And lots of people don't necessarily have the budget, and certainly not with the past 2 years and economic times and so on. So with Canuck overall, we aim to provide products that people can use, they can buy, they can have a ton of fun with. It doesn't break the bank, and we can support the product for its lifetime, or for the warranty period, and make sure that you still get to enjoy it regardless.
Yeah, I got two things to say. The first is that before I was ever even on this show, it must have been somewhere around 2017, maybe 20, when it was shortly after the Regulator Defender first hit the market, and I bought a Regulator Defender.
Now, was that the walnut or synthetic version?
This is the synthetic version. I think it was
that was early days, because that's now the Enforcer.
Well, exactly, right. It was before the wood version. I think the wood version started hitting the market a couple of months after I picked mine up.
Okay.
And for the life of me, I can't even remember why I had contacted you guys, but I had contacted you guys about something, and it might have even been you that answered me. I don't remember.
Did you put it together wrong?
I didn't put it together at all. But I just remember messaging you guys, and I got a reply. It was like 20 minutes. You guys replied back, and it was exactly what I was looking for. And it wasn't just how you answered it. It was that you were like, "Hey, how's it going?" Like, very professional opening. Thanks for emailing us. Answered the question that I asked, and then it was, if you have any other questions about any of our products, please message us back, and we would be happy to answer them. And I've had so many experiences with manufacturers in Canada, with retailers and with distributors, where it's just like, hey, yeah, no, don't do that, or yeah, we don't have that, or you're using it wrong, buddy.
You're an idiot.
Yeah, you're dumb. See ya. And it's such a for whatever reason it stood out in my mind, and I think I've said this on the show when you guys when it was originally pitched that you guys were going to be sponsoring the show. I was like, fuck yeah, I love those guys. And it's like it's nice when you can have sponsors that you actually have previous experience with and you enjoy. So that's the first thing. The second thing is a question.
Hopefully,
do you have an old son or a young brother in the house?
No.
there was a young man in your window behind you about 2 minutes ago.
Oh, that's possible. Yeah, there might have been a family member.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
As long as nobody's breaking into your house while you're distracted on the
Honestly, I'm distracted enough that if they were, I wouldn't know.
Kurt, you had the next question up there, didn't you? And then I started rambling like an idiot.
No,
hey, that's okay.
Just, where the heck is it?
Well, I know I'll give it a quicker answer to Dan, because he had asked about I think it asked about Bergara as well.
Oh,
or someone did.
I remember somebody mentioned something about Bergara. Yeah.
Looking
Bergara's, oh my gosh, it's Ready 940. Bergara is such another interesting, awesome topic, because they make such excellent products for the money. I mean, part of the Bergara name, whether it's the US or Canada, but certainly Canada from our perspective, support. We do all that warranty and support in-house. You'll likely deal with me, like I said before. Bergara is also exceedingly excellent to work with us. So anytime we've ever had issues, whatever we need parts, Bergara is there for us, and vice versa. To give a bit more context, within my whole role, I do a lot of technical reports that consumers will never see or really know about or understand, but that's for our manufacturers. So whether it's Bergara, Canuck, whoever it is that we're dealing with, if we see issues arise, whether it happens once or it's somewhat recurring, but not really, it happens enough, I will actually do full-on technical reports and provide that information back to the manufacturers and suppliers. So we adjust and make changes in our product lines from the Canuck perspective, of course, when those things arise, and we send that information back to the manufacturer. But I do the same with Bergara. So if there's a problem or whatever occurs, I'll communicate that to them, vice versa. They are absolutely incredible to work with from a support perspective, but also just overall from a relationship. And
if only you could get magazines.
Oh, you and me, brother. You and me. and they're, you know what? They're equally aware of that. But from that Bergara perspective, their products are fantastic. They hit such an excellent price point for the quality and features that they offer. They originally started as a barrel manufacturer, right? They were actually shown. I shouldn't say shown. That's a loose term. But their initial R&D into barrel manufacturing was related to Ed Schillen and Schillen barrels.
Oh.
So Bergara, for quite a while before they really got into the actual complete firearm side of things, was known for their barrels, and they supplied barrels to a variety of other manufacturers from what I understand. So they've always been known originally for that before they got or as they got into the complete gun side of things. Of course, they got into the market at the right time when Remington was clearly not doing so hot from a manufacturing perspective. So overall, I think price point and for value and feature set and quality, what you get out of Bergara, second to none. Their B14 line, which is primarily produced in Spain, and then their Premier line produced in the US, absolutely fantastic firearms.
Yeah.
They're great guns for the money. They're probably
they certainly have grown in popularity and distribution
exactly
over these last several years, like wild.
Yeah, and I think that's for a number of reasons. Certainly a portion of which is the Remington side of that conversation, but more importantly, I think it's because Bergara truly offers such a good quality product for the money. They do support in the right way, but they also listen to the market and the products and models that they have developed and continue to develop. They hit the market at the right price point? And I have that conversation with a lot of people about the rimfires. You're basically looking at, like CZ, Tika, Savage, a couple of those manufacturers in general that are the sub $1,000 price point. And if you're into the rimfire precision side, that very quickly goes to the $2,000 barreled action, give or take or more, of the Rimex and the Voodoos. But the B14R sits right in between there. I think they retail around the $1,500, $1,600 mark, give or take. Don't quote me on that. I don't recall retail pricing all the time.
Yeah, I think somewhere there.
When the new BMR is pretty nifty little gun too.
Oh, the BMR is awesome.
I've only been able to take it out twice since I got it, but like it's a sweet little gun.
They're super cool. I am extremely happy with the BMR. But overall, whether it's the BMR now, which competes in that kind of sub $1,000 price point, or the B14R at that $1,500, $1,600 price point, they both hit aspects in the market that none of the others seem to, and they do it for a price point and from a quality and so on and support perspective. So knowing what I know about Bergara now on the back end and the business and the industry, hands down one of my favorite gun companies ever, just because of what they do and how they do things. And that's not to say, every manufacturer, like I said at the beginning, has problems, has warranty issues, whatever, but they are just such an excellent company.
Yeah, I agree. They're awesome. Oh, sorry, you brought that up, didn't you, Kurt? And then I switched it out on you.
No, that's okay. It's okay.
Sorry about that. I know this. I'm just trying to bring up another sore point here. Wade Delamere says, just bring back my high powers. Phil has talked about the high power debacle on air before. And just in case anybody doesn't know, first of all, you can go back and watch that episode, or that is a exclusivity issue, unfortunately, for those high powers. Hey. Yeah, which seems like it sucks because the company that got exclusivity isn't even making or releasing them in Canada, are they?
I don't know. I don't directly know, to be honest.
Don't quote me now, because I thought maybe that was a thing, but now that you're not remembering or that you're not sure, now I'm not sure. But anyway, it sucks because everybody seemed to really like those.
And you know what? That manufacturer, they do such an excellent job with their products. Another great company that we work with, excellent support. we've picked up on little minor technical things that we send back to them, and they've implemented those changes. Excellent guns. I love the high power.
Mm-hmm.
I like 1911s from an aesthetic perspective. From a technical / gunsmithing perspective, they suck. 1911s are like a finicky quasi Swiss watch. They're really not that hard to work on, but they're like that analogy of the British like double shotgun or double rifle over under. There are so many specific little regulating points within 1911s that will affect other areas of their function, especially if it's a Series 80 with the firing pin safety and so on. So I love 1911s, but the best 1911 was the high power.
Fair statement.
Yeah, and you know what? To that question, I think the high power is a sweet gun, and I'm sure we would like to bring them back. But like you mentioned, and yes, go back and listen to that episode to hear more about that.
Yeah. You were bringing one up there, weren't you, Spencer?
Yeah, Brent Fraser's asking, is Bergara going to come out with a 223?
This is an interesting question. The broad answer is I honestly have no idea. I genuinely don't know at this point. I couldn't tell you. If Bergara is working on one, I don't know. They did a number of years ago release some Premier HMRs in 223. So they are like hen's teeth. They're not common. I'm not going to pretend to say that they're widely available or that they are currently available. They're not. They did produce a 223, but I genuinely don't know if a 223 is coming forth from a broad perspective. Bergara did release in the States their small batch rifles, and based on U.S. laws with SBR, pistol braces, so on. Chris, you saw it at SHOT Show.
That was a cool looking little.
It's a super cool thing.
It was hot as hell.
Yeah, so that was a Premier action with a whatever 8, 10-inch, 12-inch barrel.
Yeah.
With a pistol brace.
Yeah.
For those of you listening who don't necessarily know, the U.S. has SBR laws, kind of like we do with our barrel length restricted firearm laws, whereby if the gun is a pistol with a pistol brace and a single grip, can't have a second vertical grip, but with a single vertical grip and a brace, with a barrel under 16 inches, it's considered a pistol. So Bergara a couple years ago did do a small run of
derp.
Yeah, exactly.
And we thought
not unlike some of our laws.
Yeah.
So some of they did produce that small batch pistol in a 223, but from a production broad perspective, I don't have an answer for you.
Cool.
I will say that I do really like the Premier 223 that I have. from that original run many years ago.
Oh, just rubbing it in now.
Yeah, I just got to rub it in.
I'm not going to click any more buttons because I think I keep double clicking Kurt's clicks and I keep fucking things up. So I'm just going to let Kurt bring up the next question too.
Where did we leave off?
We're on Jonathan Bergen.
Here's a bit of a deep one here.
Yeah.
How is the whole OIC and the whole gun agenda affecting your abilities as a company?
That's
notice honestly, they don't have any semi-automatic black rifles out.
Yeah, really.
It's a great question. It's affected us like any other distributor, and that flows to the retail side. It clearly really took the wind out of the sails from a, like you just said, Chris, semi-auto black rifle, whatever, 223, 7.62, 39 type gun. Yeah, I think, and I've worked in tech alongside firearms, and I'll bring up the analogy of like adapt or die. And whether we like it or not, the OIC is currently in place. So those distributors within Canada who want to continue to exist have to adapt. And I think we've done an excellent job of doing that. So has it affected the company? Certainly, just like it's affected every other distributor and manufacturer to a degree, right? Whether we're not as large a market as the US from a US manufacturer perspective, but I think a number of the US manufacturers noticed that relatively decent drop in business of firearms they can no longer export to Canada. And I think a lot of US companies were taking notice of the opportunities in Canada. So overall, absolutely, the OIC, I think, affected everyone. It's affected the consumer from an ownership perspective. It's affected the retailer from a sales and business perspective, and it's affected the distributor from those kind of parallels. So it hasn't helped. This industry is always in certain ways, affected politically, whether we like it or not. But like I say, adapt or die. And I think we've done an excellent job of adapting and focusing on core areas that we can continue to grow and support while, trying to get around the areas that are affected by the OIC.
That's an interesting thing you say, adapt or die, because there's this segment of the gun owning community that, when the straight pulls were coming out, when the AR-18 or 180B platforms coming out, everybody's all, well, I will not settle for this. This is horseshit, and I'm not going to buy a straight pull because it shouldn't exist in the first place, and I'm not going to buy a 180 platform because it shouldn't exist in the first place. I shouldn't have to. I should be able to shoot my AR-15. It's sitting in my safe, and all I can think of whenever people make those comments is like, okay, and like you're talking about like utopia versus reality. The reality is that the industry needs to survive while it navigates all of the horseshit that the government is putting them through. And if they don't put things out like 180B platforms, if they don't put out straight pull platforms, then they're not going to be around when the next government gets in and they can make AR platforms again.
Exactly.
And totally look at ATRS as an example. I mean, those guys, we've never talked to them, any of the guys at ATRS, but they must be hurting. And it is a fucking travesty because they made beautiful guns.
Totally. And it's exactly, it's an unfortunate, political aspect that directly affects the industry from a business perspective. And Chris, exactly like you just said, the companies have to adapt or they will die, because if you put all your eggs in that basket and that basket gets, lit on fire, you can't do much.
Exactly.
And so while from a wishful perspective, like, do you want a straight pull? Ideally not, but that is the nature of the current landscape. And like you say, hopefully adapting to the industry and having those products that consumers hopefully do want. And that's business regardless. If the consumer doesn't want it, you don't have a business. But clearly for some of those manufacturers, the consumers do want them. And they certainly fill a void or a niche. But hopefully that does support those businesses long enough that they can then remain active in affecting the political landscape or the laws and regulations, so that we can get back to the ARs and the whatever else it is that we used to be able to own or shoot perfectly legally, but now we can't. So I think that's a very important distinction, and you made it. You said it perfectly.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
You want to bring up Dan's comment there, Spencer?
Yeah, sure. So we're gonna beat the heck out of the Bergara thing again.
Yeah, Dan, you're on fire.
Brent had kind of a similar question. Dan is asking, will we be seeing a 3-lug 60-degree bolt coming from Bergara? And Brent is asking also that can you buy just a Bergara action?
On the 3-lug, I genuinely have no idea. If that's something that Bergara is working on, maybe they are, and we might find out about it. But I honestly cannot answer that question. I have purely no knowledge of it, of one way or another. At this time, we haven't ever brought in like bear actions as a thing. I don't know if they've ever really been available as a product to us in that way. Typically, it's the complete gun. From a distributor perspective, it can be a little difficult bringing in like onesie twosies at the end of the day. So that can kind of affect things. But I guess actually in a roundabout way to answer part of that question too, most Canadian gun consumers absorb a vast majority of their gun knowledge, market information, product availability information from the US. And it's much easier for manufacturers in the States to do exclusivities with various distributors and so on. So an example would be, Brownells, I think, had done a couple of varieties of barreled actions, like Bergara barreled actions that were available through Brownells. That's much easier for them to do in the US than it is from an export perspective. Pardon me. So that's not to say that actions couldn't be an individual thing, but there are additional layers that most people aren't aware of that can make that more difficult.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is why you see.
How much?
Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. Well, I was just wondering how much influence would you guys have over or with Bergara, your suppliers in general, I guess, with sort of market trends and what people want over here and suggestions for production and that?
I think that's
or is it more so kind of here, this is what we've produced, this is this goes with our 5-year plan sort of thing, here's what we have to offer you?
I think honestly it's such a good question, Kurt. I think that answer varies depending on the relationship between the distributor and the manufacturer, and how in tune that manufacturer is to other markets outside of, assuming they're based in the US, of course. With all of our companies, Bergara, the manufacturers we work with on Canuck, so on, they tend to be very receptive to us with concepts and ideas and what we're seeing in the market, because believe it or not, or whether the Canadian gun consumer sees it, a lot of the minute aspects that dictate product availability in Canada can affect its success or availability in the US, right?
Really?
Right.
And I mean that maybe from a feature perspective, or what they're looking for, or a barrel length perspective, or a configuration. Like on our Canuck side, we've come up with a variety of configuration, so to speak, like the Enforcer and the Renegade Walnut that you have, Chris.
Yeah.
And then you start to see that type of gun become even more popular in the States, within reason, because their laws dictate things, especially with shotguns. They become any other weapons, which is within the NFA. So I think the manufacturers that are willing to listen to the Canadian distributors and at least take some of the input do a good job of that. I will say for sure that Bergara is, well, we have an excellent relationship. So we always feed as much as we can to them and vice versa, to make sure that things can be successful within a business relationship. And I think most companies want to do that. It's hard to answer that question specifically, but hopefully kind of what I alluded to, like, assists.
Yeah. It's not as easy as we tell them what to do all the time, or they tell us
or vice versa. Exactly.
Yeah. It's a complicated relationship.
It's very much a symbiotic relationship between the two.
Yeah. Not so much a question, but Spud says the Bergara MG Light looks sweet. So that was at SHOT Show also.
That is sweet.
And it was super sweet.
It is so cool.
We were joking around at SHOT Show that you were gonna get me one in 6.8 Western.
Oh God, yeah. Oh geez.
Well, I guess not you. I was joking with Ben. Now I'm saying it was you. I'm transposing.
Someone's gonna say like 7 mil STW, 6.8 Western.
Yeah, exactly.
350 Wachahoozy. I don't even know. 250.
What were some of those calibers? What were some of those calibers we were coming up with at the dinner?
Oh God, I can't even remember all those.
There's like
there was a lot.
The 6.8 Broken Dreams or something.
Yeah, there was like the 7.2 Gypsy something or other.
Yeah, the 7.2 Gypsy was definitely one of them. Yeah.
It'll steal your money before it hits the target. Yeah. There was a number. That MG Light is a sweet gun.
Yeah, I want to get your quick take on it. My quick take on the MG Light was that it's very similar and felt very similar to, I don't remember the model number, but to Christensen Arms magnesium chassis rifle, only it was maybe half as much money.
Cool.
Wow.
Yeah. I didn't know that.
You did? Have you never seen the Christensen Arms magnesium?
I think
chassis?
I saw it vaguely at SHOT Show, but it's a very busy week, so we don't always get to explore as much.
You got 2 sales for MG Lights now. You got a sale for one in 6.8 Western and one in 7 mil.
Yeah, it's never gonna happen. Just don't even ask. It'll never happen.
Yeah, sorry, carry on.
It's a super awesome gun. So it's a magnesium chassis, folding stock, takes like AR receiver extensions, or it's threaded for that. So, world's your oyster in terms of stock options and pistol grips. Yeah,
Remember
magnesium
the exact
chassis.
weight on it?
No, but I have the power of Google at my fingertips. So
it was donkey dumb.
Oh, it is
light, not
yeah,
white.
It's very light.
Yeah. Like I remember I picked it up in my one hand and I got destroyed wrists. And
like you almost punch yourself in the face with it, right?
Yeah, like you could do whatever you wanted with it. You probably don't want it in a Magnum caliber. Let's put it that way.
Well, that's not necessarily. I mean, now
don't.
In the States, of course, you could throw a suppressor on it, but the Bergara Omni muzzle brakes, which are a simple like radial ported muzzle brake, are unbelievably effective. Like when you're shooting occasionally you're testing. I've had to test like a 300 Win Mag or whatever. With that muzzle brake on that gun, it is unbelievably soft to shoot.
Well, in that case, I'll take one in 300 short mag.
Oh, there you go. They don't do that yet. So
I don't. Well, they don't do 6.8 Western. They don't do 7 STW. What is going on?
We'll see what else they come out with. But to answer your question, the complete gun's like 6 pounds.
Yeah, 6 pounds.
6 to 6.5, 7 pounds kind of thing.
Yeah, and they had the skeletonized pistol grip on it too.
Yes, and that's also that gun. They also launched the carbon barrels on as well.
Yes.
So Bergara now has some models of complete rifles with their carbon barrels, which is exceedingly exciting.
Yeah, it was well. Just imagine, like, you put a 1 pound hunting optic on there.
Exactly.
You've got a high caliber hunting rifle that weighs 7 pounds.
Exactly.
Right.
Shout out to Apex.
Not a
I hope you guys come out with a
stock.
really nice light hunting optic.
Yeah, exactly. We need a 1 pound LPVO or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, 1 to or 2.5 to
MOA.
16 or something.
An MOA. Yeah.
No, mills only.
I think of I think about
but the MG Light is an awesome gun.
My SIG is like synthetic chassis, like synthetic stocked rifles. You can get them pretty light, like a lot. Like you can
yes. I thought you meant the SIG, but yes, yeah.
Yeah. So I look at my SIG though, which is an aluminum chassis rifle, and with my hunting optic on it,
which SIG is that?
It's a SIG Cross.
Oh, one of those knockoffs, right?
Yeah, yeah. Now before I swapped it.
Before I swapped of the fix.
Anyway, before I swapped it out for a carbon fiber IBI barrel, with my hunting optic on it, I think it was just a little bit over 8 pounds.
Yeah.
And that's with a 16-inch barrel.
Yeah.
That MG Light, was it an 18 or 20-inch barrel?
Depends on the caliber. The Magnum calibers.
But we're not talking about short 16-inch barrels.
No, correct. You're talking 22 to 24-inch barrel lengths.
And they're like 6 pounds.
Yeah.
Like that's bonkers for a non-synthetic stock.
Oh, totally. And I mean, you also then don't have to purchase a bottom metal, right?
Yeah.
Because occasionally, or you'll see people compare a chassis to a stock. Cool, you can directly compare those prices, but that stock needs a bottom metal and a good quality M5 pattern, whatever you want to call it, AICS-ish compatible bottom metal. You're probably looking at $300 on the minimum, upwards of probably $500-$600.
Yeah.
Well, that's probably half the cost of a good synthetic stock or close to it. So when you can have a full magnesium metal chassis that out of the box accepts AICS pattern mags, your modern sporting pistol grips and stocks and so on, you get an unbelievable amount of capabilities out of something that is not a synthetic stock and that is ready to go from the get-go.
Yeah. So your mom has taken over Blind Spotter's YouTube account, and he says, just want to say that Tony is one of the few people in the industry that understands what customer service is. Keep doing what you're doing.
Shout out, Mom. I mean, Blind Spotter.
Blind Spotter.
Say hi to your mother.
Say hi to your mother for me, okay?
Where's the meatloaf? No, thank you. Appreciate that. I'm sure. Hey, you know what? It doesn't matter what industry or what you do. I'm sure there's people who, for some reason, don't like me, but broadly speaking, most everyone I get to interact with is great on the consumer side. So thank you. Appreciate that comment as well.
If somebody doesn't like you, you're not doing it right.
Yeah, well, or they're not doing it right.
Not trying.
I think I said that wrong. If nobody doesn't like you, you're not doing it right.
Right, exactly.
I think that's what I meant to say.
Something like that.
Kurt, you brought up Jonathan's question. Do you have the click on that?
Oh yeah.
Well, first of all, I just want to solve your caliber conundrum right here.
Yeah, 6.3 Germinator. So Jens, okay, we got to tell the backstory here. Jens has this friggin' rifle that he calls the Green Is it the Green Bastard? He calls it
Green Bastard. Yeah,
the Green Bastard. He's been trying to sell it to me for what, like 8-10 months now.
What caliber is it?
At least.
Right now, it's in 6.5 by 47.
6 by 47.
6 by 47.
Oh, so you got to neck that shit down. Oh, jeez.
Yeah. So he's
so
been trying.
rough.
He's been trying to sell it to me for about the last 8 or 10 months, maybe close to a year. And he told me at the Calgary Gun Show that it is no longer for sale, and I was supposed to be very upset about.
Now you're supposed to want to buy it. It's like
yes,
right.
Yeah. So he says he's working on a new caliber, the 6.5 Germinator, because he's German. So why not
6.3 Germinator?
Sorry, 6.3 Germinator.
Now is that the European measurement? Are you measuring the lands or the grooves?
Well, we got to talk about this. So yes, he is measuring that properly.
Okay.
He had it dubbed something different, but I informed him of how that's done.
So is he swaging the 6.5 bullets down 20 thou to make them or 15 thou?
They're 257.
Oh god. Oh geez. Man, get your shit figured out.
I would also just like to point out that
build a caliber where you can actually source some bullets.
I'd like to point out that the 6.3 Germinator is spelled Germanator,
Oh, it's
not
kind of like a Schwarzenegger situation here.
Yeah. Well, it's a Jens situation.
It's also not Germinator. Yeah, we're not making plant-based products here. We're not trying to
I think it's it's more
seeds.
Properly pronounced the 6.3 Germinator.
Yeah.
Or something like
close.
that.
It better come with some, bratwurst and whatever else.
Yeah.
It doesn't trail on that sucker.
Yeah, it doesn't need any gun oil. It just needs some bratwurst
schnitzel
oil
or whatever.
Yeah, some schnitzel grease.
All right.
Oh Jesus.
Jonathan Bergen asks the tough question.
That's a cool question.
Thoughts on the new 277 Fury that the military is adopting in the hybrid case design?
Yes,
personally,
I do want this extension.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Basically, Spencer says, fuck it. And I say, I'll take 2.
Right. And those are the 2 spectrums of the Canadian gun consumer.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Well,
really.
I already have a SIG Cross. I mean, why wouldn't I take a 277?
You've got a cross to bear on that one for sure.
Ooh, puns now.
You know what? Super cool question. I will say, based on basically knowing very little about them, other than a general idea of how SIG manufactures that case, it's neat. When you look at the history of it comes with Lederhosen shooting fans. That's awesome. When you look at the purely technical history of guns, very little has changed in an extremely long time, really since the advent of the cartridge case, right? Of course, there's metallurgical advances, so on and so forth, and minute advances or advancements within certain aspects of bolt action semi-auto gun design, or including machine guns, I should say, in that. Basically, very little has been done that has actually been widely adopted or accepted in new case design. You have case telescope,
right?
Which, believe it or not, shotguns are basically the same concept. They're case telescope, right? The round or the actual projectile sits within the dimensions of the case. It's not protruding out like on a rifle or pistol round. Of course, everyone knows of the German Space Gat, the G11. Exceedingly cool from a theoretical, technological development perspective. Very, very interesting. Voyer, the German company who came out with probably one of the earliest caseless designs, their guns were actually fired via a piston that compressed enough gas or whatever, or air, to ignite the propellant. So there's definitely been, a sizable amount of research in non-traditional cased rounds. And really, I think outside of some of the more, like I said, material or metallurgical advancements, the case is the number one thing holding back the next generation of firearms. But the case also does some things extremely well. A brass case is an excellent heat sink. So, excluding bolt actions, because it's almost impossible for a person to physically ever heat a bolt action barrel up to the point that you truly affect the properties of the barrel. You can certainly wear that barrel quicker than or sooner than later, but you can't destroy a barrel on a bolt gun. You almost can't do that on a semi-auto either. You can definitely get them hot, but when you look at machine guns, and really those are a massive heat generator, the brass case is a huge heat sink. So every time you fire and extract that brass, you actually do remove a large majority of the heat, or at least a good portion of the heat from the action of the gun. When you go to things like case telescoped and otherwise, you introduce a large or a greater amount of heat within the actual action and the mechanism of that gun. I mean, the Sig Fury doesn't really obviously change the heatsink aspect because it's still a brass case with a stainless steel case head.
Right.
A broad guess from that perspective, and it's rather obvious, I think, to a degree, they're using that stainless steel case head to achieve higher pressures, because the weakness point in any gun is the gap between the breech face and the
exposed bit.
Right, the exposed bit. And there's always there will never be a perfect mating of the two surfaces, because you'll have a chamfer on the end of the chamber so that the round can feed. You'll have the cartridge seat, which is the actual term for a bolt face, and so on. And there's a natural gap. Going to that stainless steel case head certainly allows a significant increase in case pressures. So I think someone had posted, 3,000 feet per second apparently out of a 16-inch barrel.
Yeah.
Cool. I don't know if that velocity gain actually translates into a real world gain relative to the barrel length, right? Like,
or even accuracy.
Right. And you're going back to those trade-offs. Does 5.56 out of a 10-inch barrel ballistically is not great. But within the general use of a 10-inch barrel, if you're talking, maybe 200-300 meters and largely CQB, it's probably okay. Again, given your intended use. So the 277 Fury, like I said, I really don't know enough about it. I think it's a cool aspect in the development of non-traditional cartridge cases. I was more interested in the True Velocity, the polymer case stuff, because that introduces a variety of other aspects to cartridge and case design and so on. Weight reduction is massive with the polymer cases. It's all super fascinating, very interesting technical things. I think regardless of any of that stuff, the case telescope had been developed over the last number of years with I think Textron Systems and whoever else. Really, really, really neat. It totally changed the gun mechanisms, because you were no longer extracting around. It would push out the fired plastic case, polymer case. So you change the rate of fire, you change the mechanics. It's all extremely interesting technical advances. I don't know if the 277 Fury is going to change the world. I don't think it will. But hey, maybe we've reached the apex, not to call them out at optics. They make sweet stuff. But maybe we've hit the apex of firearms for the next foreseeable future. And then we go to those specific things, right? Or those specific advances. Hopefully that long-winded answer gives some ideas.
No, that's good. I gotta wonder, like in a high cycle rate firearm, something like that, with that polymer case. It's interesting that they could have that application. When I think of things like Hornady bullet design with that polymer tip, they actually changed the design because they found that it was the original design was melting due to
friction,
velocity and pressure, like the air friction, really.
Yep.
So in a high cycling rifle, are those polymer cases going to stand up?
Well, and they might stand up from a failure perspective that we know of, like when we see a brass case fail, but because you remove that heat sink portion of the brass case,
right,
you could now, and theoretically, you could induce cook-offs, which is a really bad thing in a machine gun, especially an open bolt machine gun or open bolt design. Right. So if your heat capacity builds in a shorter amount of time, because you're not reducing that heat capacity overall with a brass case, now you might induce cook-offs much quicker.
And runaways.
And then you have doctrine and concept and training that goes around firing X or centered around firing X amount of rounds in X time for a variety of reasons. So your one minute change to the heat capacity of a given gun design all of a sudden impacts a huge majority of other aspects. So I'm not going to pretend to know the answers, like I said, by any stretch, but there's a lot of things to think about when these minute changes are made.
So Jonathan also asked about, sorry, Chris, we'll get around to it. We got to wrap things up and get to that draw. Jonathan also asked about reloading capabilities for it. And as far as I know, there are none at the moment. There's got to be,
a while ago, Stig was talking about releasing brass, but you basically, you buy the brass, you shoot it, and then what do you do with it?
Once.
Right.
Exactly.
And I have no idea as to the brass composite that they use or anything like that. So who knows as to the brass service life, whether the brass could hold up to another loading, or if it's hit plastic deformation to the point where you can't use it again. Who the heck knows? So,
well, if the plasticity of the polymer, if it's enough that it will shrink back down to actually hold a bullet effectively, I could see that. But polymer being, especially high temp polymer, being as rigid as it is, I can't see that happening.
And part of it comes down to battlefield pickups. If you can fire a round and it can no longer be used, that's actually ideal, because it's no longer a source of X material for someone else. So there are a million aspects that come into play.
A lot of considerations.
Exactly.
For sure.
Did I know I dropped out for a minute there, but did you guys notice JR's question as well? Hey, JR, by the way, how's it going, buddy?
JR, I haven't seen you in a long time.
Yeah, JR was wondering if you think, Anthony, if they've solved the cellulose buildup issue. I assume that you guys must have started talking about the polymer cases when I dropped out.
We did.
Yeah. Okay.
I have no idea.
I thought he was talking about my back fat.
No. I think that's cellulite.
Right.
Yeah. Cellulose is plant fiber. Cellulite is the spare tire.
Identify as a plant.
Oh, geez.
JR is probably right. He says, let's face it, the military doesn't care about reloading.
See, that is exactly right. And that's a
they
good
don't
example.
Have designated range, designated battlefield brass pickers.
Yeah. Can you imagine the Dillon 500s they would run if they were required to reload it? You know what? But he's absolutely right. That's a good example of consumer line of thought on a product, and whether it's military or otherwise line of thought.
You guys keep going. I'll be right back. Okay. I'm just going to pick up the rifle.
The military really could give a shit about reloading anything, right?
Precisely.
And the consumer, they care because of cost and so on, and accuracy and whatever else. So they're entirely different lines of thought from a specific product perspective.
This emperor, why did the military make me pick up the damn brass?
I have no idea.
Shouldn't be a pig, son. Same reason they made you make your bed.
Hey, you know what? I think, is it Japan maybe? I had heard, like the Japanese Defense Force or whatever, they were required to account for every piece of brass after firing, like on the like training.
Is
And
that right?
apparently, if that's totally correct, I don't want to say 100%, but from what I gather, that's because of their laws and rules and regulations around firearms and ammunition and all of that as a general concept.
Right.
And if you couldn't prove that every single thing came back, then so
Sure.
I don't know. Maybe they just wanted to make you work towards mindless things.
Yeah, I think that's it. It's a discipline and structure thing, I think.
Ooh, look at a rifle.
This. Look
Is
at
that
what
a 12
that guy's
round
got.
mag?
No,
10, I think.
Oh, 10.
Am I right about that, Spencer?
Is that in 6.3 Germinator?
I think so.
No. This one's in 6.5 man bun.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's got to be it. That's an MDT 10 mag, isn't it?
It is.
Now,
Yeah.
does that come with like man bun hipster sandals, or are you donating a pair of sandals with the gun, Chris?
Oh, I should have donated a pair
Totally
of sandals. You know what? I wore shoes at the Calgary Gun Show. So everybody who got tickets at the Calgary Gun Show doesn't even know that I'm a sandal boy. But
Wow.
so let's show it off one more time here before we give it away.
One more time.
I have to say,
we'll go left
in
to
6
right
years
here.
of SHOT Show, look at this beautiful firearm, that nice MDT chassis, that slick vertical grip, that 10-round mag, that slick action.
That may be a 12-round mag.
It could be. That's
It
why I
might
asked the
be.
question. It looks,
Well,
looks cool.
I'm not about to put a bunch of rounds into it to find out, because you're not supposed to do that in your house,
Exactly.
and I don't have enough snap caps.
6 years at SHOT Show, I have never seen someone walk the show in sandals except for Chris.
It's friggin' Las Vegas.
Yeah, but I mean, it's supposed to be somewhat professional, I guess.
Sandals
Sure.
are professional.
That's true.
Okay,
Business professional.
I'm bringing it back.
Do you have steel-toed safety sandals for when you're doing yard work?
So you may not know this, but sandals
Oh,
by
good
definition are open-toed.
There we go. So the rhetorical question.
Yeah, a little bit. So
Anyways, look at this beautiful gun that
should we give her
EM
away?
Precision donated, I believe, right?
You may notice that it has the MDT rings, but it does not have the Apex Rival scope. It will have the Rival scope. I blame Obama.
Yes.
Basically, we're waiting. Well, we're waiting for the slow boat from Japan, I think is basically the way this works. The way shipping has been so stupid lately. Don't worry, I'm gonna wipe it down after. My
museum
God.
quality white gloves.
I know, right? Like he's worried about me
But if you had
handling
any
it.
idea how many people
Exactly.
were spoiling this rifle at
Do you
the
know how
Calgary
many
Gun Show?
kids picked their nose and then were playing with the rifle at the gun show?
Frog Lube G96. You don't need that shit. It's It's
Exactly.
lubricated with greasy hands at gun shows.
That's it. And schnitzel
Yeah.
And
and
schnitzel.
back fat.
Okay, I'm gonna put this
Plant-based
down.
lubricant.
When I put this down, I'm gonna take my headphones off, so I'm not gonna hear a damn thing that you fools are saying. I am gonna
Okay,
open
here's
the
our
lock.
chance.
I'm gonna swirl all the papers around, and then I'm gonna pick a name out, and then I'll come back, and then I'll read the name, I guess. So in the meantime,
All right.
you fellas go ahead with the
How
commentary.
about let's
Can we-
get to it?
Chris,
Okay,
if we time this,
Yeah.
that like your hand reaches into the box, we can make it look like it's my arm going into the box.
No, not on my screen. I'm above the box on my screen.
Well, no, but you gotta like hide like just so that we can only see your from your like fingertips to your wrist,
Do that. Then
There we
then
go.
and
we
then
can
and
do
then it'll look like
it. Okay.
I'm reaching
I'll
down.
try, but no fucking promises. Okay. I'll be back.
There's a bunch of guys yelling at their screens right now.
Just draw the damn gun.
Unbelievable.
Oh shit.
Oh, Doug. I'm going to get a lot dirtier in a little while. Now, Doug Rodenbush has won more raffles than I've ever entered. Never
Oh, wow.
mind one.
So Doug's not allowed
Yeah.
to win this regardless.
Oh, we have some shots fired here. Do we get Mama Bear moment tonight as well? I don't know. I'm a little bit afraid. There's a story behind this, and I don't think for my personal preservation, I don't think I'm going to show it on the or explain it on the show.
Oh, jeez.
It is kind of funny.
This is such a hoot.
There's your chat. Oh, come on.
And
Tony,
we didn't even get to like, there we go. That doesn't quite look like it. We didn't even get to go in like crazy depth on Canuck stuff or otherwise.
Well, you know what that means.
We'll just have
to schedule another show for sure.
Okay. Who's got
the... he's back. Okay, don't say anything.
Who's got the drum roll? What area code is 604?
Isn't that BC or something?
Is it?
I'm not sure.
Okay, so that means that the person who won this is from area code 604, which we're assuming is BC.
It is City of Vancouver. Shit.
Okay, City of Vancouver. All right. So the person who won this rifle is from the City of Vancouver. And this person who won this rifle is watching the show right now.
No.
Yes.
And it better not be Doug Rodenbush. Doug, I'm kidding. I don't even know you. Maybe you win.
Oh, I am sorry, Doug. It's not Doug. Sorry, Dougie. It is Mr. Joel Anthony.
Oh, congrats, Joel. Even better because you got 50% of my name.
I didn't know that Joel was even watching our show tonight until he commented just like 5 seconds ago.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Impeccable timing, Joel.
So yeah, Mr. Joel Anthony, we'll be getting in touch with you, and we will be, going through all of the usual stuff of verifying your PAL, et cetera, and then arranging to get this incredibly unbelievable rifle out to you. Joel Anthony says, "Are you fucking kidding me?" No, I'm not, Joel. I would not do that. That would be the world's most cruel joke. If I would. Oh no, I'm joking. It wasn't Joel. I'm sorry. It was Chris.
Well, thankfully, my name is in there. So, like, if you just forget the Joel part, I can give you my mailing address.
Just Anthony. Yeah. No, Joel. Like, legitimately, Joel, you won this. Here, I'll put it up on the screen.
He's shaking. He says.
I just put his phone number up on the fucking screen.
Oh, he's gonna get some
stupid.
dirty phone calls.
I'll edit that out later. Yeah, there we go. Joel Anthony won.
All the way from Surrey, BC.
All the way from Surrey, BC. Yeah, congrats to Joel Anthony.
Yeah, congrats, man. Enjoy that.
And thank you, Joel, for including your address and phone number when you sent us the EMT.
Yeah, exactly.
For some folks that didn't do that, they just like giving money away.
Exactly. So we will make sure we get the rifle out to Joel right away. And then we will make sure as soon as the shipping companies get their heads out of their butts and we get a rival in our hands, we will send that out to him as well. That's so cool. I can tell like Joel's so stoked about this. Like it's just on text, right? Like I'm just reading his comments here and I can tell that he's like super excited about it, and that warms my heart a lot.
You know what, next time for the next giveaway or whatever occurs, it should be live. Like via FaceTime.
Oh, okay.
So that like you can see the person, like you call them up, be like, "Yo, what up? Don't know you. You just won this cool shit."
That would be cool, actually.
Right? Wouldn't that be sweet?
And we just call them ahead of time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
no, don't even call them ahead of time. Like call them live on the show and be like, "Yo, pick up. If you don't pick up, you don't win."
Oh, we should do that. Hey, Joel, are you by the phone right now? Because I'll do that right now. I'll call you right now, man. Joel, you better pick up the phone because this is a great idea, and if you don't answer, this is going to make us look so stupid.
Yeah, because Joel, if you don't answer, someone else might get drawn.
Hey, do you need his number, buddy?
I got it. It's on his draw sheet today.
We could also ask in the comments. I think everyone grabbed his phone number.
Okay.
Well, yeah, because I'm an idiot.
Look at that! Look at JR stepping up.
Oh my God, JR! The answer is yes. Okay, can you guys hear the ringing?
Oh yeah.
Hello.
Hi, Joel. How you doing, buddy?
Oh, I'm great. I'm shaking. I'm like sitting here with my kid. I don't even know what to say.
Yeah. Well, congratulations, man. We're super stoked for you.
That's awesome.
Can you guys hear him on the mic there?
Oh yeah, we can.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Congrats, Joel. That's super sweet.
I don't know. You probably can't hear what they're saying. I don't know if you can or not.
I can't. I was watching it on my phone sitting outside.
He had to stop watching the show so that he could answer his phone.
Oh, wow.
Well, man,
that's awesome.
we're super stoked that you're stoked about it. This is really great. This is really rewarding for us. And I think while we've got you on the phone, we're going to give a huge thanks to our sponsors that helped us give this away, to EM Precision Rifles and to Apex Optics. And man, we really hope that you enjoy it. And we want to see videos of you shooting this. We want to see photos of you shooting this. And we really hope that you're going to enjoy it for a lot of years to come.
Oh yeah. Thank you everybody who donated. Oh, videos, everything. Oh, I can't wait. This is going to be awesome.
Right on. We'll get in touch with you in the next day or so, and we'll get this sucker out to you ASAP.
You come out to Saskatchewan, there's free lessons in it for you.
And Rooster says that if you come out to Saskatchewan, there's free lessons in it for you.
You know what? I'll do that. I'll come.
Awesome, man. We will talk to you soon. Thanks for listening to the show. It's so awesome that to have awesome listeners like you supporting us. So thanks and congratulations again.
Thanks, guys. I love it.
Have fun with that thing, man.
Yeah, congrats, man. That's awesome. That's a sweet rig.
Sea of American content. It's it's my favorite thing to listen to because I can relate to it. So,
that's so awesome. It's nice of you to say, man.
That's so great. That's so cool. I love that.
It sounds like you want to go hug your kids, so we'll let you go, and we'll talk to you soon. Okay.
Thanks, Chris.
All right. Bye.
Oh, that's so cool.
That's awesome.
That's
I'm
cool.
glad you had that idea.
Guy.
That was
That's
such
so
a cool
great.
idea, calling him on the phone.
I'm not only pretty looks or fake accents.
Clearly.
I occasionally outside of the accents have some good ideas.
Yeah. Well, and I just like to say Emperor, man, he was really looking forward to this draw, and
no kidding. I think he was chewing on his mouse.
I think he was, but what a good sport, hey? He's happy for the guy who won
totally.
It.
Absolutely.
And if that isn't just all you need to know about the gun community at large, then
you know what? I have told people when guns come up in conversation, because when you work in the industry, it naturally does, and lots of people are curious about them and so on. Or you're introducing new people to the shooting sports. But I will and still get to say that of all the things and areas of hobbies and things I've been interested in, I have never met such a great group of people, broadly speaking. There's always just, most people in this hobby are just in it for fun. They have as much fun introducing new shooters to the industry or the hobby as they enjoy shooting. Generally speaking, it's just such a good group of folk and people who want to share, right? You show up to the gun range with something new and cool and everyone turns their head and it's like, oh shit, dude, you want to try this? Oh yeah, you want to try mine? It's just it's generally speaking, such a good group of individuals.
Absolutely.
You bet. Yep. 100%.
Well, we are coming to the end here. I should let everybody know, please check out the show at facebook.com/FFP podcast. Leave a review so we can know how we're doing. If you like the content, please leave a like on the page and share so that you can spread the wealth. You can email questions to info@ffpp.ca. And also, if you're still watching us right now, make sure you hit like or love or smiley face, or if you're Jens, hit that angry face because somebody made a 22 rimfire or German joke. And
hit that schnitzel emoji.
Hit the schnitzel emoji.
In his defense, he said his fat fingers accidentally hit the angry button. I said,
that's bullshit.
With it. Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Anyway, make sure you hit like and everything else. And Kurt, your turn.
All right. Well,
hand off.
All right, we got a couple more ad reads to go through here. Dion Optical Design, they're the creators and designers of March rifle scopes, which are all hand built in Japan by Japanese craftsmen using only genuine Japanese made parts to achieve the highest optical standards possible. Shooters deserve the best possible optics to succeed in all aspects of competition, tactical, and hunting situations. And for this reason, Dion has produced a March rifle scope for every situation. Get a hold of Doug Wright at marchscopes.ca or his email at doug@marchscopes.ca. Let us know if you need a demo or have a look-see. There's a lot of people that stopped by our booth when we had a couple of March scopes there available for people to view. Went over really well. We could be in a neighborhood near you. We'll be playing with March scopes all summer. Schnitzel is awesome.
Yes, Jens, where does goulash come from then? Is that like Danube? Are we talking Schwabian German, or guys?
That angry face is coming back any moment.
Guys, thank you so much for having me on. I'm sure this won't be the last time. That was a ton of fun.
Yeah, Tony, thank you. Yeah, it was a great time. I love the accents and thanks for following the ridiculous flow of our conversations.
Oh, totally. I mean, we had the exact same conversations in person at SHOT Show, so
yeah.
If I couldn't expect anything different. But yeah, seriously, thank you. A ton of fun.
And Vanya says goulash is Hungarian, by the way.
That's true, but goulash is also can be German based on where they were from, along the Danube there and the Schwabian area. I may or may not know some of my German history.
Before we, I have to talk about Ribstone. I got to let everybody know about Ribstone gunsmithing. From stocker finishing to modifications to general repairs and rust bluing on rifles, shotguns, and pistols. Contact Oscar Long at Rubstone. Jesus fuck.
Rubstone.
Yeah. What's on your mind? You gotta.
Would you like massage?
Do you have a rock garden beside you right now? With a little break.
Cash only. Ribstonegunsmithing.ca in Sarre, Alberta. Ribstone Gunsmithing, craftsmanship done right. Now, what happened to the Sarre of Alberta?
I will finish this off from the Odell side.
Okay.
If anyone is attending the Wolverine Supplies Days coming up in June, we will likely be there with a small selection of items, a mix of Bergara Canuck stuff.
When is that again?
Sometime in June. I think the end of the month, end of June.
Oh,
I don't know the exact dates, but
it is the end of June. I remember because I'm
for all of the western half of Canada who we don't get to see or meet often, especially the consumers. We will be there on the firing line, like I said, with a mix of Bergara and Canuck products. So don't know exactly which ones yet, but we will be out there.
Awesome.
And if you mentioned you heard about it on the podcast, I might even throw in an accent when I meet you or something. We'll see.
Excellent.
Yeah. If you mentioned that they saw you on the podcast, you'll say, "How you doing?"
Yeah. You come into this range day and you bring up this shit.
Yeah.
Act like a normal person here.
I always knew it was you.
Yeah, exactly.
So leave it to JR. The $20 obviously goes to me.
Course, yeah.
I'm assuming that we're still talking about rub and tugs here.
No. What did you say about stones?
Stones.
Something you just.
Ribstone. About Ribstone. I said Rubstone.
Yeah, Rubstone. Yeah, 20 is 20 there, Chris.
I don't know.
Whatever. You do have a rock garden off to the side, don't you?
Yes. Yes. What's wrong with the rock garden?
Yeah, leave the gun, take the cannoli. Yeah, you leave the gun, take the cannoli.
Take the cannoli? Now you're going to transition into Mario there very quickly.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. It's a me, Sterling R18. All right.
One more thing to take care of, hey?
Oh, we do have another thing to take care of. Holy shit.
We do.
Where did I put it?
Chris, what did you do?
I don't know.
Hold on.
Did you lose it in the rock garden?
There we go, folks.
Good God. Thank you for. How did I forget this? We've lost most of
your attention for I don't know how long now.
I just saw it in the private chat. You should have just blurted it out. We have a second place prize. If you entered for the rifle and you did not win, you can win these right now. So I'm going to do this quickly. I'm going to take the headphones off again, and I'm going to get this going.
While he's doing that, I just want to send out a special thanks and a shout out to Nomad Custom Gear in Grand Prairie, Alberta for the scope covers, the rear bags, the crap sack, ammo wallets, and shotgun ammo card they made for us. Awesome gear that we'll be using in matches throughout the through the season. Come up to us, ask about them. use them, try them out. Good gear. Nomad custom gear.
I don't know if it's a combination of his poor writing or if I don't know if that's an E or an O, or the first name is Stefan, Stephan, and it's either Poigione or Peigione.
Oh.
Ooh.
I don't know how to pronounce that. Take a stab at it, guys.
Is there a phone number?
There is no phone number, only an email.
Ooh.
Only an email. Otherwise, I would call him right now. But Stefan Pigione, he's probably not Italian, and I'm butchering his
exactly
name. But yeah, anyway, Stefan, you won the Isotune Sport Advanced Electronic Hearing Protection earbuds. Excellent. I can't believe I forgot that. Yeah. We will get in touch with Stefan as well, and we'll get those out to him.
Doug, you pronounce that Doug Rodenbush.
Like I said, I pronounced it wrong. Oh, well, thanks for reminding me about that, Kurt. I would have never forgiven myself if I had not.
Yeah, well, you know what? Truthfully, Nancy reminded me.
Did she really?
Yeah, she did.
Well,
sent me a couple of texts. Hello,
best assistant ever.
Yes.
Okay. Well, now we're gonna sign off on the show.
All right.
Yeah. Thanks again, guys. Super fun.
Oh, thanks for coming on, Tony. We had a blast.
Good to have you, Tony.
Am I doing the video or are you doing the video?
Oh, I guess I could do
the video.
All right.
Oh, so typical.
See you later.
Bye.